Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Good morning!
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come
on! Let's go. It's a football Friday. It's a Phil Collins Friday. It's a hot day in the Bay Friday. Go to the beach, go to the pool, do what you got to do. But on Sunday night, I need you parked at Levi Stadium on your couch at a bar and locked in to 49ers Cowboys. Because that's what we're talking about today at 888-957-9570. That's the number to get involved because I want predictions. I want scores. I want it all. All right? 888-957-9570. Call or text the Comcast Business text line. Hit me up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. And be sure to download that Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game. This is the pregame show with Joe Spadoni. And for the next hour, we're talking Niners. We're talking Cowboys. We're talking Brock. We're talking Dak. We're talking Micah, Bosa, everyone. And it's a feel-good Friday, and it's a football Friday brought to you by First 5 California. Visit first5california.com to learn 4 things that you can do to overcome toxic stress. And I highly recommend it. If you have a little one under 5, you need to manage your, emotions. It's difficult. I got 2 of them. Sometimes I can get upset. Kid gets upset. First5california.com tells you all you need to know about managing things, certain tactics, all that. Even I, a seasoned veteran as a parent for 4 years, even I can learn new things. Good morning to all of you just getting off work, just getting ready for work, getting ready for school, the weekend, whatever you're doing. I appreciate you joining me. And again, the number 888-957-9570. That is to get involved in the program. 49ers Cowboys. I don't think the line's shifted, if I'm not mistaken. 3.5 still in favor of the Niners. Let's confirm. Yes. All right. Oh, this one's telling me it shifted back to -3. Okay. All right. 3.5 some places. All right. So field goal. I don't think it's going to be that close. I think the Niners are a touchdown better than this team. I do. I hear a lot of people saying, this is evenly matched. This defense is going to be hard to... Okay. I think that Diggs injury is massive. I think Brock Purdy is going to put on a show. And I think this could be a statement game for him. Now, he's not going to say it is. But I think a lot of the media, and I have a lot of examples we're going to play here in a second, are doubting this kid. And that's fine. They're doubting him because of who his head coach is and what his head coach has done with talent that they believe is similar or slightly greater than that of a Jimmy Garoppolo. Is that fair to Brock? Well, life's not fair. And I'm sure he doesn't care if he's compared or doubted or anything. Guys, Mr. Irrelevant. If you hear him talk, hear him speak, he's like, I've been doubted my entire life, yada, yada, yada. All the QB talk, coach speak, whatever. Player speak. But he understands the assignment. Mistake-free football on Sunday night. Throw a couple touchdowns. Extend plays. Make the key third downs in the key third down situations. And get the dub. And send Jerry Jones home crying. That's what you want to do. Although Jerry Jones is probably going to be somewhere in the Levi's parking lot or in the hallway, just holding court like he usually does after every single game. Doesn't matter where. Jerry will find the media, and the media will find Jerry. Good morning to all of you on the YouTube chat, Morali, Liberty Eli. Appreciate you chiming in at this hour of the day. Although, Morali, I think it's like a normal time for you, right? Shout out India. I appreciate all my international viewers because we are worldwide here. Shout out Pitbull. We got Australia. We got the Netherlands. We got Canada. We got Mexico. We got England, Brazil, Argentina, España, Italy. We got everywhere. I just like doing the Spanish names. It's fun. You can get back into my Spanish. I'm visiting Mexico in a couple months here. Oaxaca for a wedding. It's going to be in December. I think it's a week before Christmas, actually. I don't know. Probably should get my passport renewed. Less than 2 months coming up here. Probably not the best way to do that. Although I think I could just ship my old one in. I have the actual copy still, so that helps. I think that expedites the process. Or I could just get screwed, in which case my wife is going to be very mad at me because it's her best friend's wedding. So, is what it is. As I digress. So I mentioned earlier, a lot of doubters in Brock Purdy this week. And not so much in his ability to command an offense, just doubting how great he actually is because of his head coach and the weapons around him. To which I would argue, what team or player ever won, and we can go multitude of sports because they use the same argument in basketball. What team or player ever won the whole damn thing with just, a bunch of mediocre players? Oh, Spadoni, look at the Detroit Pistons against the Lakers. They did it. Lakers are trying to four-peat. And their two best players hated each other. Shaq wasn't working out. Kobe was all in Shaq's dome. And they had some Hall of Famers in that Detroit team. Lest you forget, Ben Wallace. I don't know if Chauncey Billups is in. He should be. But definitely Ben Wallace, one of the greatest defensive players of all time. And they had a legit head coach in Larry Brown, who I'm not sure is a Hall of Famer. I know he's had allegations in college. He has got the SMU, all the... But yeah, sure. It happens. If you want to use that as an example. Anything else? Any other examples, really? No. Because you need good players. You need great players around you. Oh, Stephen Curry. Yeah. He needed Klay Thompson and Draymond Green his whole career. Okay. Michael needed Scotty. Kobe needed Shaq and Pau Gasol. Right? Giannis needed a Chris Middleton and a Drew Holiday. Tom Brady needed Rob Gronkowski. Needed a great defense. Needed a Hall of Fame head. Like, all of this stuff is intertwined. Right? Aaron Rodgers. I was thinking about him in that Green Bay Packers team. Who else is the Hall of Fame? Well, you had Charles Woodson leading the way on defense. Clay Matthews, pretty good. Greg Jennings, amongst others at the time. Although I'm looking at that offense, is probably the only Hall of Famer is Aaron Rodgers. But you know what? That defense made the key plays. Was it the fumble? Was it Mendenhall? Whoever's the running back for the Steelers at the time. So you need good players. But here is Steven Ruiz. You probably read him. The Ringer. Does a lot of stuff for the NFL. Steven's very good at his job. You know why he's very good? Because this little clip went viral yesterday, and it had San Francisco 49ers faithful up in arms. Steven Ruiz of The Ringer covers the NFL, talking about why Purdy's not doing anything special with the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm sorry. I watched the film and he's not doing anything. He's running the offense well. And I get the argument that, he's a good quarterback for this system and he's the right quarterback for this system. And then I get yelled at when I rank him 25th. Here's my thing. I'm ranking these quarterbacks not based on their suitability for the Kyle Shanahan system. I'm ranking them based on what they would do in a normal offense, like a league average offense. And if we put Brock Purdy in the league average offense, this game isn't going to lead to top of the league results. The play that made me lose my mind this week was he threw a pass downfield to Brandon Ayuk over the middle of the field. It's probably like 30 yards downfield. It was into double coverage. He underthrew the ball by about 10 yards. The Cardinal safety, number 34, like overran the ball. He couldn't find it in the air. And then Ayuk tracked it down and caught it. And like 49ers Twitter is like celebrating this throw. Like when he went to throw the pass, he knew the Cardinal safety was going to overrun it. He knew it. And he knew Brandon Ayuk was going to realize it and track the ball and cut off his route short and get it. And that's why he threw it short. He did it on purpose, which is ridiculous.
Okay. So Ruiz picks out just one play, I guess, that, he'd singled out in a game where he only had one incompletion. So I'm not so sure last game was the game to, kind of critique Brock because he was near perfect. If you don't believe me, just ask Brian Baldinger, who played in the NFL and covers the league and does the Baldy breakdowns and has the respect of every single player in the league, who said he was basically perfect this past week. That's Brian Baldinger. Played in the league, covers it at a high level. And I'm not saying Steven doesn't cover it at a high level. This is his opinion. Clearly, he's not alone in thinking Brock Purdy, is anything that special. But he, said, put him on an average type of offense. Okay. Well, I'm just scrolling through and going through passing. So let's go. Who's the middle of the league in passing? Let's pluck him onto, I don't know. Let's go the Detroit Lions. Let's put Brock there. Think he's doing what Jared Goff does? I do. Right? I mean, what's Jared Goff doing that's so much more impressive than what Brock Purdy's doing? And we all view Detroit as a team that, they're coming. They beat the Chiefs. No one wants to face this team. And I think the Detroit Lions are a great team. They're fun. I think they're going to win that division. And they could make some noise come playoff time. They could upset a 49ers team or an Eagles or a Cowboys. I think they are very, very good. But is Jared Goff, that much better? His career, yes. I'm talking about right now. Right now. And if you go look at the numbers, and we pull up Jared Goff right meow, pretty good season. 6 touchdowns, 3 picks, all right. 1,029, right? Okay. Brock Purdy, just 1,019, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. Quarterback rating 115 or passer rating, whatever. Jared Goff's 98.4. All right. So that's what I'm getting at here. Like if you pluck Brock Purdy and put him on to a team with no defense, you're basically wondering if he could carry your offense to a win each single week. To which I respond, well, who cares? Why? Why does that matter? If you don't have a defense, you ain't winning a Super Bowl anyways. Trust me, I've watched the Raiders for the past 20 years. If you don't got a defense, nothing's happening. All right? So yes, you need good players around you. Oh, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. All right. Was Tom Brady complaining that he had a plethora of weapons in Tampa Bay when he got over there and he brought in Antonio Brown? Yeah, but that's Tom Brady though. Okay. But were we crushing that Super Bowl win for him when Patrick Mahomes is running for his life with no offensive linemen? We had Tom throwing it to Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski. Yeah, that's a pretty good 4-receiver tandem there. You're talking about 2 legit Hall of Famers, and Mike Evans is probably 3 Hall of Famers he's throwing to. Yeah, well, it's Tom Brady. Okay, well, Tom Brady, what was he before all of that? Hell, even when he won 3 Super Bowls, we were still crushing the guy. And I mentioned Tom Brady not because of his overall skill set or anything like that. I mentioned Tom Brady as a name because he was doubted early on in his career. He was doubted and doubted and doubted. He's not Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is supposed to be this. Peyton Manning is this. You know what? Peyton Manning's the league MVP. He's doing it with Dallas Clark, amongst others, Joseph Adai. Yeah, he's got Marvin Harrison. Yeah, he's got Reggie Wayne. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, so it's okay for Peyton. Like, that was a conversation in the early 2000s. Tom was doing all this winning constantly, but it wasn't, that impressive on the offensive side of the ball. Oh, yeah, He's clutch, but okay. But the arm talent, who gives a damn? And then, finally, we're going to give Thomas flowers after, Malcolm Butler gets the interception at the goal line. Not in 2007 when he had one of the greatest offensive seasons in the history of sports. And that 07 Patriots team, I know they lost, still the greatest football team I've ever seen. Offense, defense, specialty, everything. They were sensational. And we still crushed Tom after that. He still didn't do enough. Oh, yeah, those 3 Super Bowls, that was because of Belichick, and that was because of that defense. Well, they're always going to find excuses, is what I'm getting at. So Steven Ruiz doubles down. Not only is Purdy not doing anything, the 49ers ain't winning a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. Right, Steve?
The game is, can the 49ers win the Super Bowl like this?
They can't.
You think they can't?
No.
I think
just
they can.
goes against. If they do, I'm done. I'm not covering the sport again. If they win it with Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, sure, I can get on board with Sam Darnold. Not Brock Purdy.
Why Sam Darnold? This guy sees ghosts, Steven. But we're going to sit here and criticize Brock? Come on. I get the arm strength factor and him not throwing it 40 yards down the field. I get it. You like to see your quarterback try to do that once again. Hell, I was watching Justin Fields do that a bunch last night and Sam Howell. And you know what I was thinking watching those two teams? God, these teams are bad. God, they're putting their quarterback in horrible positions every single time. I was watching Sam Howell and Justin Fields run up the gut, run to the side, doing design runs, and getting popped. That's not sustainable. What Kyle Shanahan and his offense is doing is sustainable. Now, you'd like to see a little less touches for Christian McCaffrey, amongst others. But to sit here and act like Brock Purdy hasn't impressed you just a little bit, I think come on. It can't always be Kyle Shanahan. Sometimes Brock has to have some good plays, right? It can't always Kyle puts him in a position to succeed. Shout out Golden State Lumber. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit goldenstatelumber.com. You like that, Sammy? There you go. Sam's all decked out in Miami Hurricane. He's got the polo. He's got the socks. He's got the hat. He's all loving it. Facing Georgia Tech tomorrow. No more triple option at Georgia Tech. That makes me a little sad. 888-957-9570. Do you agree with Steven Ruiz that Purdy is not doing anything special? And he's going to need to do anything special or just play mistake-free football like he did against the Cowboys last playoffs in order for the Niners to win. 888-957-9570. Luis Robertson, good morning all. Liberty Eli, taxes due next week, burning the midnight oil, Spadone. Taxes are due next week? Really? October? Is that like an extension? I already did my taxes. Is that back like in April or March or whatever? I digress. Good morning to the Comcast Business Text line, 925. I'm a Rams fan, so I don't like the 49ers, but I respect their greatness. And now, since I know my team won't win it this year, I want the Niners to win the championship so that guy can stop covering sports because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Just ridiculous. I didn't know where you're going with that, 925, because I was like, I'm a Rams fan and I'm rooting for the 49ers, but just specifically so Steven Ruiz doesn't talk about sports anymore. I need more of Steven because this is just tremendous content. This guy's creating content for all of Bay Area sports, and I appreciate it. Steven. And I'm sure someone on the station will have him on next week. Although if he's based out of the East Coast, maybe I should have him on pregame show. Why not? I don't get guests very often. Come on. 408 on the Comcast Business Text line, 888-957-9570. That's the number to get involved. The Cowboys will win outright this weekend, but when they meet in the playoffs, the Niners will beat the Cowboys. Okay. Interesting. That could happen. I do think this is a bigger game for Dak Prescott because if he loses to Brock Purdy, and again, I'm saying Brock Purdy because, the national, Steven Ruiz, a national media analyst, podcaster, whatever, writer, they're going to say, Brock Purdy again. He beat you, Dak. This is Mr. Irrelevant. You ain't the guy. And that's not fair to Dak. Dak's actually had a pretty damn good career. Do we all forget Dak's rookie season when he took over for Tony Romo? And what did they start off like 12-0 or something? Something ridiculous like that? Or you didn't have a pick and through 13 years? Something ridiculous. Dak is a very, very good quarterback. But the time is ticking for him. He's 30 years old. He's getting up there. You know, it's similar to how Derek Carr, he left the Raiders, same age. Well, what's Derek, 31, 32, around the same age. But the expectations for these guys so early on in their career with that early success never lived up to it. And Derek obviously having the one playoff, should have had two, broke his ankle. But, you know, never living up to what could have been. And this year, if they do get the playoffs and they lose again, I mean, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I have a hard time wrapping my mind. Hell, they might already have a hard time wrapping their mind around the fact that Dak Prescott may not be that dude. 650 Comcast Business Text Line. That Steve fella needs to put the crack pipe down. LOL. Sorry if you can't read that on air. Raul. I just did, Raul. It's all right. We can do crack.
When does that crack come into play
for Steven? Well, I don't think he's on crack. I think a lot of people think like he does. A lot of people. Mike Bassick, former MLB pitcher and now host for 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, covers the Rangers, Cowboys, Mavericks, all those teams. Mike's great. Find that entire interview. It was on with the Morning Roast yesterday. Find that entire interview on YouTube and download the Odyssey app. You can find it there as well. Mike agrees with Steven. Maybe not to that extreme, but he's not sure how great Brock would be without the weapons.
You'd always lean towards the quarterback because they have so much say in the game. I think the 49ers have done a tremendous job at building a team around him that you can take the pressure off of him. If you put Brock Purdy on the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't know if they win 10 games, and nothing against Brock Purdy, but you look at what Kansas City has as weapons. They don't have great receivers. They have obviously a great tight end. They don't have great running backs, but they have Patrick Mahomes, and he can carry a team. He can bail the offensive line out of situations. He can bail having average wide receivers at best out of situations. But Christian McCaffrey can take so much pressure off of Brock Purdy because if you're in 2nd and 4, if you feel like you can still hand the ball off in certain situations or just throw a screen pass, just get the ball out, get McCaffrey in space, and he can make the play. The other day, that run he had against Arizona, amazing.
All right. So again, he's got Christian McCaffrey, he's got Ayuk, he's got Deebo, he's got George Kittle. He can make all these throws and he can get bailed out on 3rd and long situations because he has future Hall of Fame type of running back in Christian McCaffrey, having the best season of any player offensively in the league right now. Okay. What do we want him to do? Not throw it to these guys? It's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. If he loses on Sunday, Brock Purdy, what's the narrative going to be? Told you. Micah Parsons sacked him a few times. Oh, he had a couple picks. See? Get some pressure in his face. Hit him. He's not that guy. I mean, what was that entire sample size leading up to that? It doesn't matter. This is his biggest game thus far in his career. You mean not the wild card or divisional rounds, the playoff games we made as a rookie with, 7 games experience, 6 games experience? That wasn't anything? Come on. What are we doing? Let's have some common sense. It's okay to see, and it's okay to say, what you see in Brock Purdy is pretty freaking awesome. And it's also okay to say, yeah, he's got awesome weapons around him. But part of playing quarterback is getting into the hands of your awesome weapons. I'm looking at a guy in Jimmy Garoppolo with the Las Vegas Raiders, and I know he's in concussion protocol. He missed last week. Rookie Aiden O'Connell played. But I'm comparing the two because obviously Jimmy was here for so long, but also I think it's a good litmus test because we all thought Jimmy was going into a system that predicates on his skill set. Josh McDaniels, they worked in, the Patriots organization together. Jimmy already talked about, having more freedom and having the luxury of having more freedom, having all these weapons. It's not just having all the weapons. It's knowing what to do with them. And obviously having Kyle Shanahan helps a lot more because Josh McDaniels doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's a weasel. He needs to be fired. Throws his rookie quarterback under the bus. Can't stand Josh McDaniels. He needs to go. Conversation for another day. Mark Davis cheap. Yada, yada, yada. But Jimmy's got Devontae Adams. If it's not Justin Jefferson, it's him being the best wide receivers in the league. He's got Jacoby Myers, one of the best slot receivers in the league. He's got Hunter Renfrow as a third option as a slot receiver that doesn't even sniff the ball anymore, although he was a damn good wide receiver just 2 years ago. Last year, a lot of injuries. We saw what he did, just snatching people's ankles. Can't find him the ball. You know, you don't have Darren Waller anymore. You shipped him out for a third-round pick. So you brought in a rookie tight end, one of the highly, touted ones coming into this draft out of Notre Dame, and Michael Mayer. He hasn't done jack. Then you got Josh Jacobs, who, outside of this week, didn't do anything. And that guy led the league in rushing last year. First team All-Pro, best running back in football. And you haven't scored 20 points. Not once. So yes, part of being a good quarterback is putting it in the hands of your special weapons. It's not that easy. Because I'm saying Jimmy failed to do it every single week. Give Brock some damn credit. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Gotta take a break. We'll get more into this on the other side. Is Brock Purdy not doing anything special to you? If so, call in. Tell me why. Can the 49ers win the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy? As a Stephen Ruiz doesn't think so. Come on, it's laughable. We all watch football. But if you don't think so, if you agree with Stephen, I want to hear from you. 888-957-9570. We have more of that. We got more sound of people doubting Brock, but also some Brock believers. And maybe a Hall of Famer will change your mind. That's coming up next on the other side in the pregame show on a Phil Collins Friday. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room.
quarterbacks not based on their suitability for the Kyle Shanahan system. I'm ranking them based on what they would do in like a normal offense, like a league average offense. And if we put Brock Purdy in the league average offense, this game isn't going to lead to top of the league results. The play that made me lose my mind this week was he threw a pass downfield to Brandon Ayuk over the middle of the field. It was probably like 30 yards downfield. It was into double coverage. He underthrew the ball by about 10 yards. The Cardinals safety, number 34, like overran the ball. He couldn't find it in the air. And then Ayuk tracked it down and caught it. And like 49ers Twitter is like celebrating this throw. Like when he went to throw the pass, he knew the Cardinals safety was going to overrun it. He knew it. And he knew Brandon Ayuk was going to realize it and track the ball and cut off his route short and get it. And that's why he threw it short. He did it on purpose, which is ridiculous.
The take is kind of ridiculous because then he doubles down with this. Again, Stephen Ruiz at The Ringer, covers the NFL.
The game is, can the 49ers win the Super Bowl like this?
They
and can't. You think they can't?
No.
I think
just
they can.
Goes against, if they do, I'm done. I'm not covering the sport again. If they win it with Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, sure. I can get on board with Sam Darnold. Not Brock Purdy.
That's the thing. Sam Darnold stinks. Come on. Sam Darnold's not good. Now, if he was in Kyle Shanahan's system from the beginning, maybe things would change. But unfortunately, he was drafted to the Jets with Adam Gase, and he saw ghosts. Casper, all right? And he's a friendly ghost, and he was still scared of him. But come on. Brock Purdy's not doing anything. Just watch the game. He picked out one play in a game that was near perfection for the quarterback. Brian Baldinger, 95.7 The Game, NFL Insider, here every week. NFL Network, former NFL offensive lineman, Baldy Breakdowns, has the respect of everyone in the league. He says he was near perfect. Steve, come on. Better than that, coach. From the Comcast Business text line, 209. If Brock played in the AFC, where there are more stacked teams, would we still be talking about him? Genuine question. I feel that NFC and AFC is night and day. Let me know. All right. Well, let's pull up the AFC right now. So, AFC standings. All right. Let's play this game. If Brock was in the AFC right now, and let's see who's the leaders. Got the Chiefs at 3-1, Ravens at 3-1, Bills at 3-1. Then you got the Colts leading their division at 2-2, but you got the Dolphins at 3-1. All right. Wow, the Colts are leading their division. That's funny. Everyone's at 2-2, right? In the AFC South. So once again, AFC South. It's just a mess. Even with the Jaguars not playing so far early this year. Another London game for them too. Well, hopefully they can get better. Got Trevor in a fantasy league. Need him to be. As I digress. So, plop Brock Purdy. Say that 10 times fast. Plop Brock Purdy. That's a tough one. Into the AFC. All right. Let's put him on, I don't know, the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill. Give him Derrick Henry. Right? Okay. Is he going to be doing what he's doing? No. Is he going to be one of the best? No one's going to think that Brock Purdy is one of the best quarterbacks in the league or in the AFC if he was there. Because you have Mahomes, you have Allen, you have Lamar Jackson, won an MVP. You have Justin Herbert, who hasn't won anything, but we'll lump him in there as well. Right? And you have Trevor Lawrence. So, sure. But that's, top 6, top 7. And then you shift over to the NFC. And then who else is it? Matt Stafford? Jared Goff? Jalen Hurts? Okay. Like those three? Yeah, I'm putting Brock in the top 10 right now. And part of the conversation is, we want to put him on a team with no talent around him. But my overarching point here is no one's ever won when they don't have good talent around them. Great. You might be able to overcome it and take a team, 9-7 or 9-8 now and go to the playoffs. Great. Congratulations. You're still not winning the whole thing. You need talent around you to succeed, to become a Hall of Famer. That's a fact. Now, you might be one without it if you're a Dan Marino or something like that. Even Dan had great talent around him, but Dan was always the best player on his team. Always the best player on his team. Some of these guys, was Russell Wilson the best player on his team when they won the Super Bowl? No, he was not. Marshawn Lynch was the best player on that offense. The Legion of Boom was what was talked about. And I'd be willing to wager if Brock Purdy does win the Super Bowl this year, he will not get the credit. Kyle Shanahan will get the credit. That defense will get the credit. Nick Bosa will get the credit. Christian McCaffrey will get the credit. Because that's what we do. If he wins another one, we'll find something else. It won't be until third, fourth, fifth, whatever. These are all hypotheticals. You'd just be happy with one, I'm sure, 49er fans. But the goalposts always shift. And they will keep shifting. And it will keep being because of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Whether it matters or not. And I'm sure it only matters if you win the Lombardi because that's all these guys care about. Anyways, that's all fans care about. But I do think, and I appreciate all of you consuming sports media and specifically this one, it does matter to fans. They do take it personally when their guy is not gassed up or their guy is constantly brought down. I can sympathize. I don't like it when my favorite player is, talked about that way. And fans don't like it. I understand. Brock is your guy. And you want him to be gassed up. You want him to be brought up into that top 10 quarterback list. You want him to be talked about with the guys like Allen and Mahomes. Sure, he doesn't have the arm strength, but just watch the game. He makes great plays. In the between the ears, if you will, that's his, top attribute, not the arm. The surgically repaired arm, which, really doesn't look that much different than what he showed last year. And that was a big conversation coming into this. A guy with limited arm strength, getting more limited. Well, surgery looks successful. Looks great. They said he could be even stronger. I don't know how much that, but nothing seems to have changed. And I still think that is also a hallmark of a great quarterback, having a serious arm injury and shaking off like nothing happened. Here's Kyle Shanahan on the notion that Purdy's success is only because of him and his offense. Take a listen.
That's pretty ridiculous. You just got to watch the tape. He plays at a high level every time he's been out there. He's done it in a lot of different situations.
95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. One more segment here before tossing it over to the morning roast. Fonte Hill and Joe Shasky fired up. We're talking shop in the back, as we do. It's the best part about the job, to be honest, is when all the guys, all the producers, all the hosts are all getting together. We're just talking sports. It's the best part. We get paid for that. It's awesome. Just a reminder at the end of the day, it's like, this is awesome. Talking Niners, Cowboys, that's awesome. Been talking about, Brock Purdy. He's been awesome. Well, at least I think so. Others might not agree. Steven Ruiz of the Ringer, thinking he's, not doing anything incredible. All right. He's a product of Kyle Shanahan's system. We've established that. I don't think he's people that have entrenched their thoughts into that are never going to change their mind. Ever. So, probably no use arguing with people like that. But you know what? That's what makes sports talk radio great. Arguing with people that aren't right in front of me. I'm talking to the beautiful people out there tuning in on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Just search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there. And the Comcast Business Text line, which is always open at 888-957-9570. Sorry, Twitch and YouTube. We got cut off there prematurely. Our guy Sam Lubin saw me with my headphones off because I was just wiping my face and, doing what I do, which is fidget at this Studio A chair. And he's like, oh, I thought it was over. And then he just, went to break. I was like, no, I still got like 2 more minutes, but it's fine. It's a Friday. We're feeling good. I'm not a diva. I don't get upset like that. All right. I don't go after my QB or my wide receiver like that. And a guy that has been labeled a diva in the past, a diva wide receiver. When you think of that, who do you think? You think of Randy Moss, T.O., Antonio Brown. Well, T.O. joined the morning roast yesterday, Terrell Owens, and here's what he had to say about Brock Purdy.
Fortunate what happened to him in the championship game, Super Bowl, but this is an opportunity for him to really come back from that injury, to really get back on track, and he's done that. And I think, obviously, like I said, when you look at the way that they played last year, prior to him getting injured, definitely they're on track to do some great things this year. But again, I like the way he's played. Definitely a guy that can sit back in the pocket. I think whenever you think about some of the quarterbacks that were kind of like tweeners in a sense that I played with, that were more active, that made a lot of plays with their feet, I think he's a bit better than those guys because he sits in the pocket, has a nice eye, has a nice arm, can throw, make all the throws. And obviously, said he's smart enough to know when to put the ball in the receivers and in the playmaker's hands. And if he has to make some plays with his feet, he'll do that as well.
That's Terrell Owens, Hall of Famer. May have heard of him. Played with a multitude of quarterbacks. Donovan McNabb, Jeff Garcia, amongst others. But Jeff Garcia is the one to me where the comp a little bit has been made with Brock Purdy there. And Jeff was very good. Pro Bowler. I think people forget how good Jeff was with the 49ers because of, again, the team around him. He's very good. Brock Purdy, T.O. saying he's better than some of these tweener guys. He's better than them. The poise, the accuracy, the footwork, all of that. Those are Brock Purdy attributes, but they're not the sexy attributes. It's not the big arm. It's not the cannon. I get it. Everyone wants to be Patrick Mahomes. Everyone wants that money too. But everyone wants to be Patrick. Well, everyone wants to be Travis Kelce right now because apparently Taylor Swift is just the greatest thing since sliced bread. And now everyone's backtracking. It is funny in the NFL as we just veer off real quick. We'll get back to Brock and your Sunday Night Football predictions, 888-957-9570. And also, what are you doing this weekend? I want to know. It's hot. It's toasty. Going to the beach like I am. We going to the boardwalk? Come on. Love the boardwalk. But it's funny that the NFL kind of, the Taylor Swift thing. Maybe we overdid a little bit. The Kelce bros have their podcast. I think they're overdoing a little bit. And now I'm seeing articles left and right. It's like, oh, this is the NFL's pitch to try to get Taylor to do the Super Bowl halftime show. They've been trying for so long. And I keep telling people, and it was so funny that the day that Usher was announced as the Super Bowl halftime show performer at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas this year, no one cared because it was Taylor Swift. Oh, Taylor Swift's she's at the Chiefs game? Oh my God. That dominated the media. So much so we're still talking about it. Oh, yeah, she gonna be at the Jets game? Yeah. What the Chiefs got this weekend? Chiefs schedule. Look at the Vikings. She gonna be at Citizens Bank? Oh God. Kirk Cousins, mic'd up. You know, I love me some T Swift. Kirk is definitely a Swiftie. That's not even up for debate. Absolutely. He's gonna get a picture with her after if she's going to that game. Lock it in. Is there odds on that too? I'm sure they have Taylor Swift odds, like prop bets. How many times they're gonna show her throughout the broadcast? And if the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl, oh my God. And they're still dating. Sorry, I should put that caveat because I think Taylor Swift's like broken up with like a quadrillion dudes, which is fine. I'm not shaming there. Hey, get after it, Taylor. Respect that. Let's go. But Travis Kelce will just be, you know, the overarching theme for whatever album comes out in the next 5 to 6 years. And then all the Swifties will be coming after them. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, Taylor Lautner, amongst others. And you might ask, Spadoni, why do you know so much about this? Well, the missus is a Swiftie. She went to the concert at Levi's, been to multiple concerts for her. Huge fan. I've never been a fan. And this goes back to her early stuff because me and my wife are high school sweethearts, so she's been listening to Taylor Swift since we've been in high school. Oh, God. It's just shifted from country to pop, and it's just not for me. Hey, respect the game. Don't hate the player at the game. Hey, respect. It's not for me. It's not for me. I want to play this sound real quick, and we can, again, get back to the 49ers here in just a second. But I thought it was fascinating. Fascinating. Marshawn Lynch. And you can say hashtag random, but that's fine because I wanted to get to this. I got 5 minutes left. Marshawn Lynch. Oakland's own. We love Marshawn. He joined Shannon Sharp, the Club Shay Shay podcast. And I thought it was interesting, and it actually does pertain to the 49ers because it does appear that Brock Purdy has the respect of his locker room, and that's a massive thing because Jimmy Garoppolo was the leader of this team. You know, he had, the respect of the Kittles, the Juszczyks, the Bosas, the Warren, all those guys. They loved Jimmy. Loved him. Trey Lance, they say they did. I'm not so sure how much they were backing him because they have witnessed Jimmy Garoppolo, be a part of a Super Bowl run. So they trusted that guy at least that much that he at least helped get them there. Not that he took them there, but he was a passenger on the bus, if you will. But it appears that everyone has respect for Brock Purdy in that locker room. Fred Warner talking about it. Like these guys were talking about when Jimmy went down last year, like, hey, we got Purdy. It's all good. It's like, wow, you don't hear that very often. That much confidence in your Mr. Irrelevant rookie quarterback. It's crazy. And that's all pro Fred Warner saying that. That's all pro George Kittle saying, like, these guys had Purdy's back early before he even sniffed a starting spot in a regular season game. So respect for your quarterback in the locker room is massive. Massive. And when Russell Wilson left the Seattle Seahawks, Super Bowl champion, one of the greatest Seahawks, if not the greatest Seahawk of all time. You might think it's Marshawn. You might think it's, I don't know, Matt Hasselbeck, but it's probably Russell Wilson. I mean, Richard Sherman, okay. But offensively, it's probably Russ. He leaves, goes to the Broncos last year, struggles, horrible coaching. Nate Hackett, one and done, night. Didn't even finish his whole first season. He was gone. But a lot, and I mean a lot, of that Legion of Boom, Richard Sherman, Bobby White, all these guys going at Russ and enjoying it, seeing him fail. A lot of passive-aggressive tweets, a lot of, reading between the lines. Just, yep, it's not going to work out. Told you. Well, Here's Marshawn Lynch, who's pretty ho-hum. I know he's doing a lot of media stuff like that, but when he's talking about his teammates, doesn't really go out of his way. But here he is talking about not effing with his head coach or his quarterback when he was there. Take a listen.
Look, man, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm not I wouldn't be the right person to speak on their relationship because I didn't f with him. You feel what I'm saying? So
you didn't mess with who?
I didn't f with Pete, and then Russ was like just a quarterback for me.
Just a quarterback for him. And he goes on, and I urge you all to find it. It's the Club Shay Shay podcast, Shannon Sharp. Tremendous. But it's like this whole 9 minutes, and him talking about, Russ, not having a phone number for Marshawn just to call to hit him up if just they want to talk about the offense, or just talk about the game that just happened. He had to go through his agent, and then Russ was going to give him a call, but it would be on a blocked number. And for Marshawn, a guy that's very personable with his teammates, he said he had the numbers of all his practice squad guys. Like if they needed anything, they could call him, holler at him, what have you. And for the leader of that team, and Russell Wilson, of that offense, for not even to be available for a star running back like Marshawn, I thought spoke volumes. You can hear it in Marshawn's voice that, it sucked. He didn't like it. He doesn't like having to talk about it, but it is what it is. He was just a quarterback for him. And you juxtapose that with what Shannon Sharp was saying. He's like, no, John Elway, he was one of the boys. He was getting after it. We loved that guy. It's Hall of Famer John Elway. And I do wonder, by the way, and I keep talking about this, if Russ is playing himself out of the Hall of Fame. It's a conversation for another day. You'd wait for his career to be over, but yikes. But it just goes back to what Brock Purdy feels like. He's one of the boys. I see him out and about. He's that dude in that locker room, and that means something. That means something when I hear Marshawn say he did not have a great or any relationship outside of football with Russell Wilson. And I'm sure that could be said for a lot of guys on that team. And I'm not attacking Russ personally. I don't think Marshawn is either. But as, a teammate, having to have a blocked number because you don't want your star running back having your number, kind of toxic. And that is not what I see with the 49ers locker room. And that is not what I expect to see on Sunday night, a toxic locker room. I expect a boisterous and loud and exciting Levi's crowd. 888-957-9570. Start lining them up. Cowboys, Niners, Bonte and Shasky breaking it all down next. Morning roast. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Monday. Not expecting a Niners beatdown.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app.